Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, welcome to Debate Crypto in a world where hopium collides with common sense, starring your host, you know it, the Crypto Keeper, that's myself, Nick, and the one and only blockchain crusader, Miguel. How you doing tonight, brother?
What's up, man? I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing well, thanks. What's on the podium for this evening?
So tonight it's What If Wednesday. And what's going on is what if 65K was the top for Bitcoin?
Ooh. I think this one
I
might be a little scary. So we better be suns out, guns out. We better put on the suntan lotion, and because this one might burn a little bit. So Miguel, let's kick it off, bro. So what if? And I'll let you start. So let me just pose it to you the way that you just said it. What if we have been wrong about everything we've been saying, and 65K was the top? What if, bro? What if?
Yeah, dude. I mean, the possibility exists, right? The possibility exists that institutions have come in, which is different from 2017, right? They have institutional money. They are the smart money. They understand, right? They do their research. They can look back at the history. They see the price movement. They see the cycles. They see how it's working. And they're like, okay, this is what people are expecting. People are expecting a blow off top, but we're not going to give that to them, right? We're going to give them a little pump. We're going to hit 65, and they're going to be expecting more because they've seen all the returns that they've made, the X amounts of doubling that has happened before with Bitcoin's price. But we're not going to let that happen this time. We're going to short that sucker all the way down, and we're going to put unbelievable sell pressure. But they're going to believe, hey, the blow off top hasn't happened. We're going to keep holding. We're going to keep holding, and we're going to keep shorting them into oblivion. And what if we just don't? What if we're wrong? Right? What if all crypto influencers are wrong? Institutional money is getting the best of us, and it's pushing Bitcoin down, and we're not going to have this blow off top by the end of December because it's too predictable. It is too predictable, and institutions know this, and they're saying we're going to make a boatload of money off these guys, expecting with all this hopium that the same thing is going to happen that happened in 2017, but we're just not going to let it, and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean, I struggle with it. I don't truly. So it's obviously What If Wednesday. So I don't actually truly, for me, I don't believe that that's what's going on. But let's talk about it, okay? The reality is that it doesn't. So when we're playing with tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, hundreds, whatever, as a retail investor, right? We have no ability to actually control the market. The most control that we as retail investors have over the markets is being an influencer on TikTok, right? Because ultimately, if enough influencers are stating the same thing, talking about the same asset, we can get some market movement. Now, that was with the exception of Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm talking about things that maybe are a little lower cap, but the TikTok thing creates a sentiment in the market. And so what I've noticed recently right now is that things are just kind of dull and dead. And as a general rule, that has also been the very time at which we would normally run, right? But because these institutions, think of it this way. If you've got $100,000 to play with and they've got $10 billion, right? And they make a 20% movement, right? They win, right? They gain 20%. They've gained $2 billion, which it doesn't matter who you are. Billions of dollars is billions of dollars. And so the thing that I struggle with is they don't actually need the market. See, we want 10x, 20x, 1000x, whatever. These institutions don't really need that. So that's where I struggle with the idea that maybe, what if that actually is the case? What if literally they are doing just little mini dead cat bounces, right? Like basically within $10,000 swings. So we run up to 50, back down to 39, run up to 47, back down to 38, run up to 52. Oh my gosh, here we go. We're headed back again. Oh, back down to 42. And literally, if you think about it, they literally could range us to death. They could range us and be making 20% rips at a time with billions of dollars, and we would be stuck holding the bag every freaking time. Because listen, at some point, investor sentiment gets to an all-time low where there's no confidence in the market. We are not there yet, but people are pretty scared right now. Okay, I believe, and that's why I believe that we're not going to go down past 37. If we drop down lower, I think we're actually running right now, but if we go back down past 37, I think the confidence isn't there. And therein lies the kind of catch 22 with these investment firms. They have to play the game and be very delicate with tweaking and tuning, because if they push it too far too fast upward, it'll lose control and the FOMO takes over. If they push it too far too fast moving down, it does the exact same thing to the opposite side. So Miguel, I don't know. I have a hard time with it, but there are people that say Crypto Face is one of them. Crypto Face says that we already saw the top. So I don't know. It's hard. It's a tough one.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that they can just range us to death. I think that that is exactly what their game plan is. And if it's not, I'll be very surprised, because of the simple fact that they're in it for the volatility, right? They're in it for the swing trades. They're in it to long it when it's depleted, when it's oversold, and when it gets overbought, they're gonna short it. They're making money both ways, up and down, versus us. Most people in crypto are hodlers, long-term investors, right? So we're just holding on. We're trying to hold on and diamond hand it and hoping for that $1 million Bitcoin so that we can be financially free someday, along with all these other projects. But they don't need that. They don't want that, right? They just want to keep trading it, because the bigger Bitcoin gets in market cap, the more stable it becomes, right? And the more stable Bitcoin becomes, the more of a detachment between altcoins and Bitcoin happens. Therefore, meaning the market is now a lot more difficult to control. You can't push the crypto markets down as easy when Bitcoin is separated from the altcoins, and now Bitcoin is a stable thing on its own. Then you're going to have to create separate FUD for all these other bigger altcoins to be able to push the altcoin markets around, because Bitcoin is going to be like, I just don't care about any other news. I'm at $1 million, right? $2 million, the market cap, and that would be huge. It would take so much money to be moving it. So we're not going to be seeing these 20-30% drops out of nowhere anymore. So right. They don't want that. That's not ideal for them. I understand they can swing trade altcoins, right? But altcoins for now are still very skeptical on like the regulatory field of what's going to happen, what's a security, what's not a security. So Bitcoin is the only playground that they have. So they're going to try to keep it at these levels where we can just swing trade the heck out of it up and down and make money both ways. And I think we could be wrong. I think we could be wrong. We could be headed into a bear market, into an extended bear market where the cycles, it's not even about, let me rephrase that. It's not really a bear cycle. It's just the cycles will no longer be how they were before, where we have a 1.5 year bull market, and then we have a 1.5 years to 2 years of a bear market, right? And then boom, Bitcoin halving happens again. Nothing but good news. Bull market, then straight up bear market where things just get boring forever. Because even in these bear markets, they're going to have to be making volatile swings. They're going to have to be pushing Bitcoin up and down. And Bitcoin's not going to be moving up 1,000, down 2,000, up 1,000. They're going to be making big swings, right? They're swinging for the fences every time to try to make as much money possible. So I think the cycles could be changing. And I think that's the institutional play behind it. And we had to accept that. We wanted institutional money to get in to blow it up. But I think it was a double-edged sword that people were not expecting. And now things could be changing forever. And I don't see it going back.
Yeah, I actually said that for when they talked about the institutions coming in, everybody was like, "Oh, the volatility is not going to be there. These institutions are coming in, this, that, and the third." And
they're not long-term holders.
No, yeah, and I immediately was like, "Listen, That's absolutely wrong thinking. And here's why. It's wrong thinking because they are able to create the volatility, and if the volatility is your friend as a retail trader, how much do you think the volatility is their friend to an extent, because they can actually control the fact that they can push that volatility both to the upside and the down. So then my question becomes, as I dive deeper and deeper into like actual thought, this is like one of those thoughts where like I lay in bed once in a while and I'm like, man, what if, right? What if we literally are just being played? Okay. So I think about this. I say, okay, let's look at both sides of it. The positive side of absolutely ripping and running to 100K and higher. I mean, CVO is talking about 250K, right? The upside to that is the same thing as the upside as it is for us. Massive amounts of money, and they still ultimately, I believe, have the ability to control the market. So when it does absolutely take off and run, I think they are able to control where that top is. So we're talking about, just start to reel it back in. So we're talking about massive. If it's $2 billion on a 20% move, think about if it moves, 200-300% or something wild in a short period of time. That dollar amount just gets insane. So it could definitely help them there. I actually heard BitBoy Crypto say something that I think made a whole lot of sense. So Ben was saying that the reason that Bitcoin is not going to, and I think I agree with him on this, the reason that Bitcoin is not going to just absolutely moon and hit, that 250 number, that 500K, anything just wild like that, at least right now, is because if that happens, there's no going back for investors that are currently in the stock market. They are going to look and say, listen, the upside is too high, and there's just not enough downside for me to think like, why am I in the stock market at this point? Right. They start weighing the options, and it's like, yeah, stocks just aren't for me. It's the crypto for me, And so with looking at that as from a macro perspective, there is so much opportunity there. There's so much money to be ultimately made in the crypto sphere that, I could see them not wanting to allow these numbers to get out of control like that. Let's look at the opposite side real quick. The opposite side tells me if we play around and just freaking, as I like to call it, fart around at these numbers that we're at right now, if we fart around and just kind of range and blah too long without some excitement, it now gets it to where people aren't having fun. And if people aren't having fun, people aren't putting money in. If people aren't putting money in, now who's going to be buying those tops from the institutions? So I think that it is a very delicate teeter-totter, if you will. And when they're down at the bottom, they want to push up, but they don't want to push too hard and tilt it, bam, slam back down. I think they want to, just keep a nice little swing, as opposed to taking it, absolutely one way or the other.
Yeah, dude. I think that, the institutional money came in for two reasons. One, they saw the opportunity to make money, right? But two, they said, hey, we got to keep this thing on a leash, and only we're going to be able to do that. We're going to have the leverage to be able to, push the markets up and down. We have the resources, we have the bots, we have the money, we have the capital, right? That we can, drown retail if we need to.
Mm-hmm.
We can create all the FUD that we want, and we can create all the hopium and hype that we want as well. So like you said, right, if Bitcoin were to rip to 500, 300,000, right, like I was predicted or whatever, like you said, the stock market people would be like, wait a minute, what am I doing in the stock market?
Yeah.
Why am I buying real estate? Let me jump on over here to crypto, just on my phone, boom, 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 buy a Bitcoin, and in the next 2 years, by the next cycle, I'm gonna be multimillionaire, right?
Yeah.
More than I already was, right? Become a billionaire or whatever. But institutional money saying we can't have that. We can't have them shake the confidence of the stock market and the real estate bubble and have this hyper focus on crypto. We need to keep it volatile and scary for the average investor to jump in, right? It's only safe to jump in when we say it's safe to jump in. And
So
it's
so hold on, but so let me ask you then, if that's the case, is the whole idea behind it then you believe is for them to be able to make it volatile enough that they're able to push the prices around and make money in the process, but then the ultimate goal, do you believe that before it actually takes off and plateaus out, the actual goal then has got to be to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible to then ultimately do what the wealthy do and take loans against your assets? That's got to be the goal at some
yes,
point. It has to
the
be.
goal at some point is for them to be front running the game, right? For them to be the huge whales and be holding the Bitcoin, right? And when the Bitcoin supply is basically gone, they're going to sell you back the Bitcoin, right? They're going to be selling you back Satoshis. They're not going to be selling you back a full Bitcoin.
Right,
Buying
right,
a
right.
full Bitcoin on exchange will be practically impossible in the
Yeah.
near future. And they're going to be selling you back Satoshis for thousands of dollars, right? And then that's where you're going to be getting crumbs. You're not going to have full Bitcoins. A full Bitcoiner is going to be super rare to come by. And that's just going to be it. People are going to get priced out of Bitcoin. But before that happens, before that price out happens, they need to be in control of the situation, right? They need to make sure that they get as many people in retail out of Bitcoin, get their rich buddies and themselves in position, then be able to accumulate the Bitcoin. Eventually, Bitcoin, they know Bitcoin's going to have the run, right? They know Bitcoin's going to be in charge eventually, but they just need to make sure that they're in the front, not in the back, and be able to hold the position of power, have the transfer of wealth in their favor to then sell us back the crumbs, right? Same thing happened in Cuba, dude. Same thing happened in Cuba just this year. A couple of months ago, a bunch of Cuban people started finding out about Bitcoin. Bitcoin was flying around in the street corners. People were literally standing in a street corner with their cell phone, and they're like, "I will buy your Bitcoin and pay you in cash right now on a premium, right? Whatever you got $100 of Bitcoin, give it to me. I'll give you $150 cash right now. Take it." Right? And hoarding Bitcoin. What happened? The government came out and said, "Hey, Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme. Bitcoin's all criminal activity. Yada yada. Anybody that we catch on it, we're gonna send you to jail. We're gonna whatever." People were like, "Oh, my family." They're like, "Oh no, I'm not getting involved in Bitcoin. No, forget that. Right? That's a Ponzi scheme. That's not real money." What
Yeah.
just happened? Like literally 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, Central Bank of Cuba came out and said, "Hey, we are legalizing Bitcoin for any commercial transactions because they want Bitcoin."
Yeah.
So
No,
they
I
front running the Cuban people. Same thing is happening here. Just obviously, the American people and the rest of the world have had a bigger opportunity to accumulate Bitcoin
right.
before these institutions and these governments.
So essentially, the thought process is with that is that okay, we as the retail traders actually, for the first time in history, have been able to front run, if you will, a market where it's never been like that before. We got into crypto before the institutions were truly able to grab hold of it. So then my question becomes this, Miguel: am I just greedy by wanting to take profits? Because we have talked about this, right? We have talked about the fact that, like, I have a nice portfolio, you have a nice portfolio. And if we're talking about people that have one Bitcoin or more, right, we both fall into that category. And so if I guess we truly believe that Bitcoin is going to be at some massive numbers in the next 10 years or more, I'm 37 years old, right? What if I have financial wherewithal between now and then? The question becomes, am I being greedy by trying to take profits? Whereas I could continue to dollar cost average and just be willing to deal with the volatility. But I don't know that I am. I feel like there is no scared money don't make money, right? And maybe I will regret ever saying that. But here's my issue. My issue for most people is, and this is most people, we talk about, listen, don't invest more money than you're prepared to lose. Now, I my life still goes on if I lose my whole crypto portfolio. Am I absolutely a freaking wreck and just absolutely beside myself? For sure I am. But can I still go on? Yes, absolutely I can. But basically my whole nest egg, so to speak, right, is gone. So, with that in mind, I view it and say, okay, I have the opportunity to, I don't think it's greed. I think it's just saying, hey, look, I believe in this so much that I believe that I also am able to take advantage of some of this volatility as well. And if my family can be set for a lifetime in 10 years versus 20 years or whatever, I don't know. I feel like some of the risk is worth it, because I'm not going to sell out everything. I'm not going to be sitting on the sidelines and just stuck, short of it just absolutely mooning and never coming back. And I don't see that happening. I don't see it doing that. So I feel like taking profits and then being patient again for it to bottom out might be the way to go.
Dude, so yes, it's like a loaded question for
I
me
thought you were
about
about to say,
taking.
yes, you're being greedy.
um, the thing about taking profits on Bitcoin, right? I feel like it's a scarce real estate, right? Like how Michael Saylor says, right? If I like to imagine the people, the families that bought New York real estate when New York was up and coming, right? Or people that bought real estate in the Las Vegas Strip, right? Or somewhere somewhere popular, that they
Yeah,
bought that real estate. They don't need to do anything but just lease it out and let other people run businesses on it. Just a piece, just a plot of land, right? Not
yeah,
even having a building. But let's say they did have a building and the land. The amount of money that they are making from appreciating that asset over the years is enormous. And all they have to do is continuously borrow against it, not have to deal with capital gains, and be making more money. And the family inherits it down the line. The family continues to become wealthier and wealthier with time. And that's how I visualize Bitcoin, right? A scarce asset that will no people will not have full coins. So yes, if you, let's say, as an example, right, as an example, you're somebody that has maybe 6 or 7 Bitcoins, you could sell 1 or 2, right, 3 or 4, take some profits, you still have Bitcoin left.
right.
um, and that's fine. And then you might be able to double back in, and if you time the markets right and you do your research right, you might be able to scoop up that Bitcoin, right? And that's what whales do. Whales sold at 65,000,
Yeah.
right,
Oh, yeah.
took their profits, and then when it hit back to 30, high 20s, they doubled up their position, and they
Yeah.
still had cash sitting on the side, right?
Yeah.
That is the ideal situation.
Right.
My perspective is, I'm not that smart money, right? I don't
Right.
have that leverage. I don't have, I'm looking for this to be life changing money for me and for my family down the line,
Yeah.
right? Inherited through generations. And I feel like I could mess up and not get back in time, and I'd be losing assets overall. Versus I could just hold for longer periods of time, borrow against it, and continuously grow my portfolio, because being a whole coiner is going to be very scarce when it comes to Bitcoin.
Yeah. I struggle with it. I believe in the market as a whole, and so I believe that the opportunity that Bitcoin is going to continue to be that digital gold at this point.
Mhm.
I don't think that Bitcoin is going to turn back into what it was originally intended for, as this peer-to-peer payment system. I really don't. I know that people are using it like that right now, but more than anything, when you see the numbers about El Salvador, they're using Bitcoin right now because somebody gave them $30 worth of Bitcoin. So they're saying, hey, you know what, this is a poor nation, people need money, and it's being given to them, so they're utilizing it. And so I
It
see.
also depends on your education too, on your financial education. People are more likely to spend money when they're not financially wise. So
Right.
these people that are getting Bitcoin that might jump into Bitcoin later down the line, they're
Yeah.
just like, oh, Bitcoin, sure, why not? I'll spend it.
Right.
It's whatever, right? They have crumbs of Bitcoin or whatever it is.
Right.
It's not going to be. It takes you to become financially uh, literate at one point to then be like, wait a minute, this asset is worth more to me
Hmm.
than fiat. So I shouldn't be spending this one. I should be spending this one, because that was the thing with my dad, right? My dad brought that same point to me. I was like, he's like, why would I buy Bitcoin and just not use it? Why wouldn't I just use Bitcoin? And so I'm like, dude, because there's a difference between that. They're both money. You can buy things with it, but this one is more scarce. This one's more important. This one's worth holding on to Fiat is not. Fiat is just confetti. It's monopoly money. Get that thing out of here, right? That thing's just losing value sitting there,
Right.
and a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah, but and that's where when we always about the two things we always talk about on the academy, right? On Debate Crypto Academy, we talk about game planning and education, and actually flip it the other way: education and then game plan, education and game plan. And this education that you need to get one way or the other allows you to put this game plan together. That being said, the game plan can be difficult. We have people ask all the time, like, what should we do in this situation? What should we do in this situation? And we want to give like just straightforward answers, right? But the facts are, sometimes I just can't answer the question because I don't know what that dollar figure means to you and your family. We always talk about, hey, don't invest more than you're prepared to lose. But I promise you that there's multiple people watching this stream right now or will be watching this stream that have money invested in the market that absolutely they are not prepared to lose. And so in the long run, the question as to whether you as to whether like we already hit the top and what we should do as of now, I think it really comes down to, well, what are you looking with a 10-year outlook? Are you looking with a 20-year outlook? Are you looking with a 20-minute outlook? And I think that is what it comes down to. Bottom line, that even if we did hit the top, if you have that 10-year outlook, let's say we did hit the top and you've got that 10-year, 20-year outlook, guess what? And we had this discussion the other day, Miguel. If we did see the top, and at this point with where I'm at, right, I plan on, I have some profit targets, right, along the way that I'm going to take profits at, but I'm still going to leave a portion of my portfolio in case, for whatever reason, in case something crazy and we went into some sort of super cycle. But I told you this the other day. I said, if we did hit the top, and if we are being tricked right now, and if we are in a bear market, I will be riding this all the way back to the bitter bottom, because the risk at that point is not, it's a risk reward thing, right? When Bitcoin hits 100K and I've bought most of my Bitcoin at $6,200, right? That's a big difference versus being at 40K, 42K. I mean, it's a difference of, hey, I'm about a 6x versus I'm at a freaking 15, 20x or whatever. That's a big difference. And there is a difference there where if I do pull profits and I am somewhat wrong and it continues to run, I can then reinvest those profits and get back into the market. Because the reality is this: no matter what, whether we're right, wrong, or indifferent, the market will not do one thing. And I can guarantee you this: the one thing the market will not do is continue to go up. And I think, and just continuously up. And I think too many times these new investors, when they look for these lottery ticket investments, they think that basically, it can have hex like movement, right? Where like it's just this magical thing, like all it does is go up. I mean, all you got to do is buy it and hold it, and it just goes up, and I can wear a Gucci jacket and be the coolest guy on earth. And okay, sorry, I'm kind of making fun of Richard Hart now, but I'm just saying like it will not do that. And so I believe if we get educated enough, then we can put the game plan together to say, okay, here's a local bottom or close to a local bottom, or this is where I have a plan to buy back in. This is where I have a plan to sell, and that laddering it out, taking profits is ultimately, I believe, the name of the game. And I don't know. I'm just not sure that I'm prepared to say, hey, I'm just gonna walk. I'm just gonna ride up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, with the long term outlook that it's gonna be up. I feel like taking profits in the meantime, because of my education in the markets, makes sense. You're muted.
My bad.
You do that a lot, by the way. We all need to take a quick break here. We need to basically chastise Miguel. Please, if you're in the chat, tell Miguel, quit hitting the daggone mute button. You are in trouble. You are spanked. No more.
Um, so yeah, I completely agree. Right, having a exit strategy is 100% important. You need to have strategies on what it is that you're going to do. Not wait for the moment to come and then be like, okay, should I sell now that we're at 65, or what should I do? Because it could happen a split of a second when we're not at 65 anymore, and we could be down at 40. Right.
Yeah.
It's a bit of exaggeration, but it happens that way. Things
Mhm.
are very quick, and in that moment, you have a bunch of FOMO. And you're like, wait a minute, we're at 65, but I keep hearing we're going to 100. We're going to 100. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna hold on because you don't have a plan and you're just listening to whatever hype and FOMO is being created in that moment. And since you don't have a plan, you just go along with the crowd. And when you follow the crowd, you follow the herd of sheep, you get slaughtered, right? So when you have a plan and you hit that 65,000, hey, my plan was if we hit 65, I'm selling. I'm selling 25% of my position is being sold at 65,000, no matter what. If we go to 100, that's fine. I'll sell some more at at 75 or 85. I'll sell 50% of my position at that point. And then if we hit 100, I'll sell the rest, or I'm just keeping that rest forever, right? No matter what. But I've already taken profits. But if you don't have those plans, when you hit those price points, you bail, you freak out, you follow the FOMO mentality. And I just want to ask the people watching right now, the audience, are you guys going to plan on selling your Bitcoin? Would you sell your Bitcoin? Would you? Yes or no? Would you sell your Bitcoin for profits? Drop it in the chat right now. Yes or no? Yes or no? I want to hear you guys' opinion.
So I shared my screen for just a second. I'm not going to do some deep level of TA, but I do want to point out that when we look, if you guys can see, I'll even zoom in a little bit farther here. I'm going to go even. There we go. Hold on a second. So when we look at what has just transpired over the last couple hours here, when you see large volume like this is not a bunch of retail traders randomly getting together and saying, you know what, let's buy, and it just all happens at the same time. And this is why we always talk about market manipulation, right? Because the facts are these massive green candles right now on the daily, that was on the hour, right? On the daily, we have not a ton of volume, right? And so what I'm trying to show you is that on the daily, not a ton of volume, nice green candle, right? Absolutely moving in the right direction now. But that just happened. Where did that just happen? Well, let's look. That just happened right here, right? This is an hourly chart. All of this happened literally within the last like 2 hours. That, my friends, is what we call manipulation. And so the question all runs back to where we started, Miguel. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. The question brings us back to where we started, right? Is this a fantastic example of that movement, right? So we were dropping down to like 40, and now boom, all of a sudden we're hitting 43. And listen, they know the support levels, right? They know what the
Yep.
50 looks like. They know what the 200 looks like. They know what these moving averages look like. And now if we push back up above, let's say, and I don't have it in front of me right now, but let's say we push back up above one of those moving averages, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, we're up above. Oh, here we go again. Here we go again. And then all of a sudden people are buying back in, or people are all amped up and ready to rock. It's a big freaking game. We love crypto. We want to be a part of the game. And so I will leave it at this. Get yourself educated so that you can put that game plan together. Join Debate Crypto Academy, right? DebateCrypto.academy. Come on over, have some fun with us, because we want you to be prepared for a bear market. That is what we want. The bear market is coming. And if we've been wrong, the bear market's here, and you really need to be prepared because we're there, right? I don't think that's what it is, but come on over, debatecrypto.academy. We will help you get educated, and then we will all put together a game plan with our weekly seminars. That's a shameless plug, but you need to be there.
100%, dude. I completely agree with you said. I just want to say, guys, if you're watching right now, you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. And the last thing I want to say is that same thing happened, right? What you were just talking about. We're at 41. Everybody's thinking we're going to go into the 30s again. And what's happening? We're having a run. What happened when we were at 29 or at 30. Oh,
Yep.
we're going down to 20. We're going down to 15. We're going down to 10. It's all over. What happened? The complete opposite, right? And they know how to manipulate this. They know the psychology of human behavior. And
Yeah.
I want to answer Red Tesla's question right here that I'm
Yeah, we
bringing
can
up.
answer a couple questions if we got them. Let's get it.
Yeah, he says, "Do you think all institutions talk in order to manipulate the market?" Look, I made a video about this. Logan Paul posted a video on his TikTok saying that he got a call from Gary Vee with 30 other huge influencers with tons of money, right? And they all had a conversation about NFTs and NFTs being the next big thing and NFTs blowing up. And
Yeah.
what do? They coordinated, right? They had a
Yeah.
coordinated plan like, hey, you're going to pump this. Hey, you're going to get into that. What does Gary Vee do? He gets into a project, he pumps it.
Yeah.
What does Logan Paul do? He creates his own project, he pumps it, right?
Yeah.
They all get into the space before everybody else. They front run it and they pump it, and then they sell it. They sell it top. They got the NFTs for cheap or pretty much free, and then they're selling it at all-time highs, right? So you're telling me that institutions, the richest people in the world, they all know each other. They all talk, right? Raoul Pal has came out saying he has a summit every year where all macro investors meet up. They're the richest people of the world, right? Since 2013, they've been talking about Bitcoin. It hasn't spread within their group to buy Bitcoin, everybody at the same time, but they've been buying Bitcoin. They've been talking about Bitcoin. JB Morgan has come out. Jamie Dimon, I'm sorry. Jamie Dimon.
He's a snake, by the way.
Has come out a million times talking trash about Bitcoin, and then in the background buying it. And it was proven. It is not conspiracy. It's not a theory.
Yeah.
It has been proven that he was buying Bitcoin every time he was talking negative about it and dropping the prices.
Yep.
Now he's selling Bitcoin on his whole institution thing. So yes, they do talk. Yes, they manipulate the market. They all know each other.
Yeah. I want to touch on this too. They say billionaires and millionaires are lonely people because a lot of people can't they can't relate with them. Okay. So check it out. We have Debate Crypto Academy, right? A group of people getting together, sharing ideas about the market to help make good decisions and hopefully earn more money in the long run. Now, do you think that people that get together that have massive amounts of money, do you think that this doesn't happen? Like what, once you get to a certain level of financial success, you just got to keep it to yourself? No, because guess what? I share with, so let's look at it like this. When Miguel and I first got in, we just had a little bit of money in the markets. We're trying to figure it out. We're getting educated. We're doing all this thing. We could kind of share information back and forth, but if we shared information, it might help us a few $100, $1,000, whatever. When Miguel and I share information now, as we've been in the markets longer and longer and our portfolios get bigger and bigger, now when Miguel and I make a change to our portfolio and then we see a shift in what's happening, it is an exponentially larger level, whether it's a drop or upward, movement. And so all I want to say is these dinner meetings, these, hey, come on over and let's chat, they happen at in all facets of life, in every single different situation you can imagine. And I think it's even more egregious because the crypto markets, there's no insider trading right now. So, if I'm freaking Mark Zuckerberg and I want to go hang out with Jeff Bezos, right? We've got two of the richest people in the world, and we say, hey, you know what? Should we buy Bitcoin? And it's like, well, I mean, here's the pluses, minuses, da, 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 da. Well, what do you mean? They say the rich get richer for a reason, because guess what? Those two make the decision to buy it. They buy it, and then they make a simple announcement. Oh, by the way, Facebook bought Bitcoin. Amazon bought Bitcoin, right? When those announcements happen, they already know what is going to happen after that, right? That is going to be a massive pump, and they're just going to continue to make money. So these meetings happen all the time. It's not just, people like you and I in our little Facebook groups, right? It is high levels. They are making money doing this.
And the last thing I want to say about that is when people get to this level of success, they don't stop chasing money.
Right.
There's not like, oh, I made $1 billion or I made 500 million. I'm done. I'm retired. I'm never going to go out there and look for another drop.
Yep.
Right. They're like, wait a minute. Now I have influence. Now I have power. When I speak, people listen. Yep. When I call you, people answer the phone.
Yep.
And now's the time
for me to
make more money.
they live up to those means as well.
Yes.
I know a lot of people that make a lot of money, right? And if you look at their checking account or their investments or whatever, because they're irresponsible, fiscally irresponsible, they make a ton of money. Like there are literally people out there that are millionaires that are broke, flat out broke.
The more money you make, the more you spend.
Yes, you spend more and you spend more and you spend more. And so if we can work on the education part of this and not be a part of that group, right? And be smart and fiscally responsible with how we spend our money, when we spend our money, and what we spend our money on, that is literally the whole thing, guys. Investors make money in the long run. We want to be investors. We're not here to be gamblers. I hope that you guys aren't gambling. I hope that you can be an investor, and you become an investor by doing two things: learning, so get that education, and then put together a freaking game plan. Gamblers walk into a casino, gamblers roll dice. We are not blowing on some dice, right? We are looking at facts over a history and a period of time and saying, look, this is going to continue over the long run. If I am able to, even on a small level, yes, the Bitcoin Standard, a beautiful freaking book, you should all read it. If I am able to continue to invest on even a small level for a long period of time, I continue to just dollar cost average. It's a simple way to do it. It's a kind of hands-off way to do it. Hey, there is potential. We can make money. We can do well. We can create generational wealth. So, guys, I hope that the what if tonight, which was what if it's the top? Well, let me just leave with this. What if it's not? What if it's not the top? And until next time, guys, hodl
Huddle
like it's
like
hot.
it's hot.